Hi and welcome to Coast. This week you join us in North Morte off the Mortehoe coast in North Devon. Now, unusually for this particular stretch of coastline, there's actually nothing living here. As you can see, there's quite a wide expanse of ocean here outlooking the Bristol Channel. But unfortunately, about 15 years ago, there was a major nuclear catastrophe and it essentially wiped out all living things in the area. However, it has produced some odd half-breeds. So we can find unusual creatures that have since died and left behind their carcasses, but they're no longer living, and they've actually metamorphosized as a result of the nuclear catastrophe. These long grasses here are home to many unusual types of animals which once resembled more standard types of creatures that you would associate with coastal areas, such as sheep and cows and certain types of seabirds. Now, over on this side of the path, this is quite a well-trodden path, and on this side we have various types of bracken. Now, in the bracken you might find what has become locally dubbed as the one-eyed tern whistler, and the one-eyed tern whistler is largely how it sounds. Really, it's a retribute rebreeding of a tern bird, but it's only got one eye. Obviously, standard biologically, you would have two eyes on a bird, but this one only has one in the middle of its head, and it's positioned directly above the beak. It's called a whistler because it doesn't actually chirp; it whistles, and it's quite an unusual whistling. It's a kind of quite a flirty sound, you might say, for a bird, and that's why it's actually become more commonly known amongst the locals as Flirty Jim.
Good evening. Welcome to this week's edition of Fascinating Fauna. Here at the North Morte coastline, I have stumbled upon one of the rarest pieces of botanical brilliance one could hope to find in this part of the world. Here we have the demon thistle, so called because if blood is shed upon it, it will wreak havoc and awaken the sleeping dragon in the mountain there behind me. As you've noticed, I've cut myself shaving, intentionally some might say, so that I can put some blood of my own on this demon thistle and hopefully awaken the dragon. We give it a rub like there, at which point now we have to do a thistle dance. Awaken. You never know, some of these old stories and tales are often true.
So back here in North Morte, as I said previously, it was subject to a nuclear disaster about 15 years ago. So there's nothing living here. There's nothing. There's no living being, animal or human, and it's largely inaccessible from various areas surrounding elsewhere in the county. So there's actually no signs of human habitation. Humans haven't lived here or indeed inhabited this area since the nuclear disaster, and most of them were wiped out. People did used to come here on holiday, but again it's not accessible anymore. Shit. About 15 years ago there was a nuclear disaster. It was quite destructive, but as people have a tendency to do, and in particular the oh shit, there's more of them. The Devonshire people, they always bounce back. They found a way to cohabit in the light of the radiation, and that's why you can see what was once a radioactive disaster zone has now turned into a flourishing and lively campsite where people come for their summer holidays. Now we can just come up it a bit further. Oh my god, there's loads of them. Oh wait. It's a very interesting stretch of coastline, and out there, as we can see, there is some type of tanker, probably on the way to Lundy Island, which is very well known as a leprosy colony, and as such it doesn't tend to come too close to the North Morte coast for obvious reasons. Leprosy has since been wiped out on the UK mainland, and that's why it's isolated on the Isle of Lundy. That's all we've got time for this week on Coast, but tune in again next week when our other correspondent Shirley will be looking into the mystery of the ancient fruit tiger wally.